You're on Nightline with me, Shiv Arur. Here's a quick check of the top stories we're tracking tonight. Red terror strikes again in Jharkhand. Pakur superintendent of police and 5 cops killed in Dumka by Maoists. 2 other policemen seriously injured. More mishandling by the Uttarakhand government. Tons of relief material for flood victims rotting even as thousands are going hungry in the hills. Headlines today exposes a major cover-up by ISRO. Agency predicted heavy rains and floods accurately without informing others, but now terms it experimental. Tussle in government over Jet Etihad deal. Matter referred to cabinet despite Ajit Singh's go-ahead. PMO denies the rift.
Obviously, all those guys raising those issues are long on politics and short on facts.
Former Railway Minister Pawan Bansal's name missing in railway scam charge sheet. BJP says classic example of government control of CBI. Major setback to Mamata Banerjee. Supreme Court rejects state government's plea to change dates of panchayat polls. And India rejects American whistleblower's request for asylum, says there's no reason to help Edward Snowden, who blew the lid over snooping. He has sought asylum in 20 countries, including India. There are no lessons learnt, it seems, despite the recent massacre in Chhattisgarh. Today, Maoists in a daring daytime attack ambushed a police party in Jharkhand, killing 5 policemen, including a superintendent of police, coming just a month after the bloodbath in Bastar, where the entire Chhattisgarh Congress leadership was wiped out. Maoists ambushed the convoy of Superintendent of Police of Pakur, Jharkhand. The attack was pre-planned and carried out with precision.
आईजी दुमका ने अपने कार्यालय में एक बैठक बुलाई थी जिसमें और एसपी आए हुए थे पूरे रेंज के, और जब एसपी पाकुर लौट रहे थे तो काठीकुंड और गोपी का अंदर के बीच उनकी गाड़ी, एक एस्कॉर्ट पार्टी थी, उन गाड़ी में एम्बुश हुआ है, माओवादी ने करा है, जिसमें अभी तक 5 आदमियों के मारे जाने की एसपी के बारे में, यहाँ उनके भी शहीद होने की।
Well, the superintendent of police of Pakur was returning from Dumka when the Naxals first detonated an explosive, and then when the police team stopped on the road on the way, they were ambushed and fired upon. 2 companies of the CRPF were rushed to the spot. Well, just a fortnight ago, on the 13th of June, Maoists killed the vice president of Lloyds in Gadchiroli in Maharashtra. On the same day, Maoists hijacked a train in Jamui and killed 3 people. On the 25th of May, the entire Congress leadership in Chhattisgarh was wiped out in a Maoist ambush. On the 4th of April, Maoists gunned down 5 policemen in Gumla in Jharkhand. On the 22nd of February in Gaya in Bihar, 6 policemen were killed in a landmine blast triggered by Naxals. And a month earlier, on the 7th of January in Latehar, Jharkhand, 7 CRPF soldiers were killed in an encounter with Maoists. Well, there have been a lot of reactions coming in on this incident. Here's some of them.
माओ का पूरा क्षेत्र रहा है, कभी ऐसी घटनाएं घटी नहीं, और हालांकि इस संबंध में मैंने कई एक बार प्रशासन को भी इस बात के लिए अवगत कराया था कि वहां चीजें थोड़ी बदल रही हैं। इसको लेकर आप इन सब चीजों पर नजर रखें। ये जो घटना घटी है निश्चित रूप से राज्य के लिए बेहतर नहीं है। हम काफी सभी लोग इस घटना से शॉक हैं।
निश्चित तौर पे ये बड़ा ही दर्दनाक घटना हुई है, और अभी हम लोग 30 तारीख को वहाँ हूल दिवस के अवसर पे जो संथाल क्रांति का दिन था, उस दिन हम लोग वहाँ थे, पाकुड़ में भी थे और वो पूरा इलाके में थे, और दिन में ये घटना हुई है। इसका मतलब है कि छत्तीसगढ़ की कंटिन्यूटी जो है झारखंड में देखने को नजर आ रहा है।
तो पता चला है बहुत ही दुखद घटना है, हम सब मर्माहत हैं इससे, और सब समाज में हिंसा का कोई स्थान नहीं है। स्वाभाविक रूप से जो प्रशासन अभी वहां काम कर रहा है उनको बिल्कुल इस बात पर ध्यान रखना चाहिए, और इस तरह की घटनाओं की पुनरावृत्ति न हो इस बात को इंश्योर करना चाहिए।
इसकी जितनी निंदा की जाए कम है। एसपी समेत काफी लोग मारे गए हैं। भारतीय जनता पार्टी इसकी निंदा करती है और सरकार को आगाह करती है कि वो झारखंड के अंदर जो नक्सल का दबाव है उसको दूर करने के लिए कड़े कदम उठाए।
Even as the Uttarakhand administration makes tall claims about its relief and rescue work, Headlines Today has found that it's all nothing but a big sham. Take a look.
Mountains of relief material, but none for the misery-struck hills of Uttarakhand. Shocking but true, these heaps of biscuits, breads and soft drinks are not reaching the victims of the flood fury. Godowns are flooded with sacks of rotting potatoes and vegetables, loaves of bread, dirty cotton rolls, medicines, none of it reaching those who need it the most, those who are struggling to survive without the basic essentials that are now clogging drains. And this rot has been exposed at not just one or two locations. Headlines Today's correspondents fanned out across Uttarakhand to do a status check at relief camps. And they were shocked to discover utter mismanagement and complete apathy on display. 17 days after the tragedy, even as people clamour for food, drinking water and basic first aid, this is the situation on the ground. If this is not a mockery in the name of relief work, then what is? First they were hit by Himalayan tsunami, now they suffer due to the government's Himalayan apathy, utter mismanagement. Survivors hungry but helpless as they are forced to throw away food.
ना राशन मिला ना कुछ भी नहीं दिया इन्होंने हमको।
पहले सरकार को हमारी खाने पीने की समस्या को देखना चाहिए। जब जितना बचा कुछ अनाज लोगों के भंडार में था, लोगों ने आज तक खा लिया है, लेकिन अब उनके पास ऐसा आ गया है कि मांगने के लिए भी गाँव वालों के पास वो नहीं है।
हम परेशान हैं, हमारे पास राशन नहीं है और मिट्टी तेल नहीं है जलाने के लिए। राशन अब भूखे मरने लग गए।
ये समझते हैं कि ऐसे तो जानवरों को भी नहीं दिया जा सकता है। ऐसे चीजें यहाँ भेज रहे हैं, इसका हम क्या करें? जो यूजी में नया है हम उसको क्या करें?
These makeshift accommodations have been provided by the Uttarakhand administration. There are no mattresses or even mats, just cold hard stones to sleep on. The tents are not waterproof either. Can we imagine what would happen in case the monsoon fury strikes again?
On the one hand, the godowns of the government are filled with this relief material that is coming in from across the country, and on the other, the contrast is that you saw that people in Joshiara are waiting for some sort of help to them. No water, nothing has reached them so far.
But officials and the administration find nothing much amiss. The Chief Minister and his administrative officials claim that the relief material has been dispatched for all locations and is on its way to those who need it.
खाद्य सामग्री भेजी गई है, उसको कैसे वितरण किया जाए, कैसे सुदूरवर्ती क्षेत्रों में, दुर्गम स्थानों पर, दूर क्षेत्रों में पहुंचाने का काम भी एक बहुत बड़ा हमारे सामने एक लक्ष्य भी है और चुनौती भी है। कैसे पहुंचाया जाए, इसके लिए हमने प्रभारियों की भी नियुक्तियां की हैं।
I do understand that, okay, fine, you do have a safety issue in mind, but at the same time, you have to arrange that things reach the needy in time and at, the correct time.
Is Vijay Bahuguna really in control of relief management work? Can he handle the crisis? Is this how he plans to rebuild Uttarakhand? Mr. Chief Minister, merely making announcements of relief measures is not enough. Seeing them through is what your state requires. Can you deliver? Bureau Report, Headlines Today.
Headlines Today brought you an exclusive report on ISRO's forecast of Uttarakhand's tragedy that was ignored by the government and the NDMA, the agency meant to prepare and mitigate such disasters. Today we'll bring you even more shocking stories of a mega cover-up of Himalayan proportions.
stunning U-turn by India's topmost space research agency. Within 24 hours of headlines today, special broadcast highlighting ISRO's explosive and accurate forecast of Uttarakhand cloudburst, the agency altered its own report, terming it experimental.
On the 1st of July, that's when Headlines Today had broadcast this special report on the very precise warning given by ISRO. This is what we saw on their website. We've got a screen grab. As you can see, there is no disclaimer seen on the 1st of July when the ISRO website had got a warning of the cloudburst that was to take place in Uttarakhand on the 16th of June. Very precise locations were given in that warning. You can see that at that time there was no unofficial tag to the forecast. The forecast time was also mentioned. It said 16th June, 7:30 GMT. Also, if you see that the number of areas that had been mapped by this warning were very precise. The areas that would be affected by that cloud burst were mapped very carefully. Again, no experimental tag was attached at that time on the ISRO website. Then just in a matter of few hours, after Headlines Today had broadcast its special report, see what happened. On the 2nd of July, suddenly you have a big, bold red sentence added to the website which says, this is an experimental run, not an operational broadcast. So the ISRO's own warning has suddenly been watered down on its website.
But can ISRO also disown or downplay these satellite images taken over a 24-hour period from Kalpana 1 on the 16th of June? Hours before the clouds rained deaths on the hills. It were images like these that formed the backbone of its deadly forecast.
NDMA has been under fire for its lackadaisical preparation and response to the Uttarakhand tragedy. But instead of addressing its own gaping holes, it has been out blaming the others, including the Met Department. However, it has failed to answer the crucial question as to why it wasn't able to procure life-saving data from other agencies like ISRO.
This was not a document that was made available by ISRO to anyone on the 16th. This is a post-event picture that was the document that was made available on the net. It is only the IMD which gives out the weather bulletins and warnings.
NDMA is not the only agency in denial. Everybody in the government has been united in the blame game as they downplay the various warnings they ignored.
वार्निंग पूरे प्रदेश के लिए थी और बारिश पूरे प्रदेश में हुई और 14 तारीख की जो वार्निंग थी कि जिसमें 16 के पश्चात अगले 48 घंटों में भारी से अधिक भारी की बारिश की जो चेतावनी थी वो पूरे प्रदेश के लिए थी और पूरे प्रदेश में बारिश हुई भी।
हमेशा ये कहते हैं कि भारी बारिश होगी, तो भारी बारिश तो पिछले 10 साल में हुए हैं, लेकिन जिस इंटेंसिटी का अभी हुआ है उस टाइप का कोई बहुत खास स्पेशल वार्निंग नहीं था कि नहीं यात्रा रोकने के लिए नहीं कहा था, सिर्फ भारी बारिश की वो थी आह्वान कर।
ISRO's surreptitious move to alter its website has raised several questions. Was it government agencies' elaborate cover-up to hide its own inefficiency? Or was it to expose government stand that it lacked the technical expertise to predict such a complex phenomena such as cloudburst? ISRO is tight-lipped, perhaps embarrassed by its own flip-flop. With Athir Khan and Kamaljeet Sandhu, this is Mausiki Acharya in Ahmedabad for Headlines Today.
The government, it appears, is divided over the 2,000 crore rupee Jet Airways Etihad deal. The Cabinet Secretary called a meeting to discuss the concerns raised by the Prime Minister's office over this particular deal. Right now, it's a tussle between the Civil Aviation Ministry and the Prime Minister's office. The Jet Etihad takeoff could be delayed or even aborted. While Civil Aviation Minister Ajit Singh is pushing for the deal, citing FDI inflows and market dynamics, the Prime Minister's office is exercising extreme caution. Having burnt its fingers in the 2G spectrum scam and Colgate, South Block is taking no chances. The latest simply adds to the red flags raised by various government agencies. SEBI, the Foreign Investment Promotion Board and the Competition Commission of India have raised various objections against the deal. In fact, FIPB clearance is what's holding the deal back at this time.
They should have woken up in the beginning itself when the whole thing was going on for months together. So if the security of my country is involved in any kind of these deals, the Prime Minister is within his right to take the cabinet and the country into confidence.
But I want the deal to be scrapped. The deal is not scrapped because it will ruin our domestic airline industry. We will all become, we would outsource our entire airline industry to Abu Dhabi. Should we want that?
So we would expect the government to consider all the possible angles and give a serious thought to all these issues before taking any final decision.
Those guys raising those issues are long on politics and short on facts.
Former Defence Minister Jaswant Singh has in fact termed the deal a curious coincidence, being announced as it did on the same day the government cleared higher seat entitlement for Etihad. Even the head of the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Civil Aviation, Sitaram Yechury, has expressed his reservations on the deal. Ajit Singh, the Civil Aviation Minister, had defended the deal, citing major FDI inflows and the needs of the aviation industry itself. He has rubbished security concerns, saying Etihad has been flying into India for years.
PM has basically raised the queries raised by other people. And so he wants to address them, so he has asked us to tell us, because concerned ministries only can tell.
So this will come up before the cabinet, I am told, tomorrow?
I don't think it will come up tomorrow. No, nothing has been fixed. That date has been fixed yet.
The Prime Minister office meanwhile has clarified that there are no differences with the Ministry of Aviation on the issue. It says clearances is a routine matter. But the fact remains that though Ajit Singh has steamrolled the opposition objection, but the Prime Minister office is ensuring that in the future more skeletons do not tumble out. With Javed Ansari, this is Ashish Maharishi reporting for Headlines Today.
The Prime Minister's office has gone on the defensive on the Etihad bilateral deal, with the opposition and other airlines raising objections to the fourfold increase in seats. The Prime Minister's office has deflected blame to 4 top ministers in the cabinet. In a note accessed exclusively by Headlines Today, the Prime Minister's office has said the approval to hike Etihad's weekly seat entitlement by 40,000 seats to 53,000 seats was given by a panel of 4 ministers on the 22nd of April. The panel comprised Finance Minister P. Chidambaram, External Affairs Minister Salman Khurshid, the then Commerce Minister Anand Sharma and Civil Aviation Minister Ajit Singh. The panel was constituted after Ajit Singh sought to override concerns of the IMG and pushed the deal through. The PMO said it was aware of various reasons against implementing the deal. Some airlines and private airports were against the high entitlement to Etihad. The Prime Minister's office was also informed the deal had the power to make Abu Dhabi the hub of westbound flights from India. Importantly, the deal would in fact make Etihad de facto national airline of India. Air India already trails behind Etihad in the number of passengers flown out of the country. Also, the 30,000 crore rupees of taxpayers' money allocated for Air India's bailout would effectively be going into the dump.
As far bilaterals is concerned, that is very good for the civil aviation sector. That's very good for passengers. And I believe because the larger ramifications of having a good working arrangement with Dubai and Abu Dhabi and Sharjah, that means UAE, that's good for the country also.
A right to information query has exposed how policemen who are in the security convoy of Samajwadi Party Supremo Mulayam Singh Yadav are given out-of-turn promotions. 43 such cops were recently promoted, but while there is a race among policemen in Lucknow to get on board Mulayam's security detail, brave cops who actually deserve the accolades have missed out on this list.
It is the perk of serving Mulayam Singh Yadav. 43 cops who were part of the personal security ring of the former Chief Minister have been given out-of-turn promotions. This has been revealed after an RTI query by activist Anup Kaushik. The officers who were promoted were deployed in December last year, 9 months after Akhilesh became Chief Minister.
इन्होंने प्रमोट किए हैं आउट ऑफ टर्न. उसकी जो लिस्ट हमने देखी, उस लिस्ट में वो 43 के 43 पुलिसकर्मी माननीय मुलायम सिंह यादव जी की व्यक्तिगत सुरक्षा में तैनात थे और उन्होंने कोई भी ऐसा कार्य नहीं किया था जिससे कि समझा जाए कि उन्होंने कोई विशिष्ट कार्य ऐसा किया है जान जोखिम में डाल करके और उनको आउट ऑफ टर्न प्रमोशन दिया जाता.
While Mulayam openly plays favourites, many are deserving have been sidelined. Across Uttar Pradesh, 40 such cops have been fighting a battle to get what is rightfully theirs. All of them have taken on dreaded dacoits and criminals, many a times risking their lives in the line of duty. What they are being subjected to instead is a legal battle against government apathy.
पुलिस वालों को इसलिए दिए कि 3/2/94 का एक शासनादेश है जिसमें साफ-साफ कहा है कि जिन पुलिस कर्मियों ने अपने जान को जोखिम में डाल अदम्य साहस का प्रदर्शन किया है, वो पुलिसकर्मी they shall be entitled to get out of turn promotion.
While the present government is clearly flouting the norms that have already been laid down, those who have served the system say the Samajwadi Party's decision is indefensible.
VIP duties, according to my lights, should never qualify for out-of-turn promotion, unless until, of course, a person has interposed himself between the VIP and a bullet.
In a state where the crime graph has shot up since the SP government took charge, this rank favoritism is raising questions on whether it is fair to demotivate your forces at a time when they are most needed to fight crime.
40 men in khaki are fighting for their rights. While they refuse to come in front of the camera, it goes without saying that they feel let down by the system that they serve. Being part of Mulayam's security ring seems to be, for now, the shortcut to the top for cops in UP. With camera person Salim, this is Amir Haq in Lucknow for Headlines Today.
There is more than enough evidence that surveillance agencies in the United States snooped on the Indian embassy in Washington, but for the External Affairs Minister, it seems to be pretty much okay. He calls it cyber scrutiny, analysis, anything but snooping and spying, and in the same breath refuses to entertain the whistleblower's asylum plea.
First, it was WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange who made diplomats across the world squirm. Now it's National Security Agency whistleblower Edward Snowden who's making Washington cringe. But his revelations that India was on the list of countries that the United States snooped on does not seem to be a big enough issue for the External Affairs Minister.
Some of the information that they got out of their scrutiny, they were able to use it to prevent serious terrorist attacks in several countries. Now, if that is so, and that is shared with us, we can hardly complain.
Even though the ramifications of what the United States has been doing all along could have compromised India's security interests and foreign policy.
On the other hand, it's a question of asylum. Now, shelter. Now, we surely don't want to have somebody in our midst who is known to be a spy.
What is surprising is that despite the letter from National Security Advisor Shiv Shankar Menon stating that the government should take a strong view of snooping, there has still not been a firm response from the ministry. And this persistent snooping, in fact, is now being termed as cyber scrutiny.
It is because of soft reactions like these that the whistleblower is beginning to feel the heat and is now seeking protection from the men he exposed.
Earlier today, WikiLeaks officially announced that on behalf of Snowden, it has requested close to 20 countries for asylum for the whistleblower. In the case of India, Assange said that it was the moral responsibility, moral obligation of New Delhi to protect Assange since he had exposed what the US was doing against India.
But New Delhi is clear. Snowden is not welcome, and snooping by the United States seems to be no big deal. India is bending over backwards to accommodate America, first underplaying its blatant spying on Indian embassies and then refusing to entertain the man who blew the whistle on Snoopgate. Yet again, India has been stared down. With Atish Srivastav in Delhi and Lavina Tandon in London, Bureau Report, Headlines Today.